Hey y'all, welcome back. Yay. Okay, so I was scrolling online and I seen that it was like National Breastfeeding Week, National Breastfeeding Month. And so that really got me turned up because I'm like, okay, I just finished breastfeeding. This is a good time for me to talk about it. So welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Antonayah. Like and subscribe, okay? Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, please. And this is Beyond the Pages. Let's get into it. Something about these Stanley cups, like I'm right-handed, so I hold my cup with my right hand, and this Stanley label is literally facing me. I wish my Stanley label was facing this side. Love my Stanley down though. Are y'all Stanley girls? Are there actually, like, there's a spider in the corner. Oh God. I was trying to find like dupes. Like I had a hydro flask. This is so off topic. I had a hydro flask that I found at TJ Maxx. It was on a good run. It kept my water super cold for super long. The freaking handle broke off. So I was walking around with a 40-ounce cup holding it like this. So that was annoying. And I have two Stanleys. Aaliyah has one. Aaliyah does not love her Stanley because it's hard for her to, we got her the flip straw because she's 6 and prone to spill. And it's just hard for her to get it up. Like it's not as easy as her like pop open cups or just a simpler cup, you know, like just a easier material, I guess. So she has that one Stanley. I'm not getting her another one until she gets older and she can handle walking around with a straw, because right now she needs a closed lid. Like, yeah. But do y'all be getting y'all's kids Stanleys? I feel like the cup is cute. You know, it's like a Stanley cup for a kid is like, I don't know about y'all, but Harajuku Barbie was really, you know, Nicki Minaj was just coming out. She had the perfume. And like, you know, clearly the perfume was for adults, but if you listen to Nicki Minaj, if your mom listened to Nicki Minaj or whatever, you just liked Nicki Minaj, like, you know, you had the perfume. I didn't have the perfume because during that time, I was in a super transitional phase, we'll call it, but regardless, love my Stanley down. Let's get into the topic at hand. Breastfeeding. I literally have a list here, so I'm actually gonna put my laptop up here. I need to do my Duolingo today too. Do y'all be doing Duolingo? If you're not doing Duolingo, you need to do Duolingo. Even if you can only do the free version. Right now, I have the paid version. Just make a Duolingo, and when you do, come back and thank me in 6 months. Pick a language and do it. I'll make a totally separate video on apps that I recommend parents to have for kids. That's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna add that to my YouTube list. Yeah, anyways, did you do Duolingo today? Period. Now, let's get into the breastfeeding. So, I'm gonna start with Aaliyah, my 6-year-old. I breastfed Aaliyah for 11 days. Child, it hurt. It freaking hurt. Then whenever I decided to give up, me and my mom, we went to the WIC office and I was able to get WIC. Now with WIC, obviously the applications vary per state, but it was pretty easy for me to get on. I got a certain amount of cans of formula a month. Aaliyah was on some type of Similac. She was on like the regular Similac, but she had a lot of gas. to the point where she was like rolling over at like 3 weeks old. And so we're able to get, she was able to be put on, what's it, sensitive Similac. It was like an orangey yellowy can. And she did fine with that. Literally on her first birthday, like May 6, 2020, was her last bottle. I actually didn't give her any bottles on her first birthday, and she didn't care. And she had her pacifier, so she didn't care that the bottle was gone. She was eating, and so that was pretty much it. She does not like milk to this day. She's a pretty picky eater. And yeah, she does ice cream though. And the ice cream does, like, you know, do a little something to her stomach. So I buy lactate milk. When I tell you she doesn't do any milk, like, it's not her thing. She likes yogurt, but I do buy the Chobani yogurt, the honey vanilla. I be putting people onto this. The honey vanilla Chobani, stop. It's dairy free, but it's really good. My kids really like it. I like it. I make my little yogurt bowls. It's super good. So, but yeah, that's it on her. Now, Gabriel, I breastfed him for 14 months. I know. That was way longer than I think I expected I could do. So literally, let's start from jump. When I was pregnant, I did hardly anything. I went to work and I cried. That's all I did when I was pregnant. I didn't do anything else. Everything else my husband did. Like, I went to work and I cried. That's it. I mean, he went to work too, and he did everything else. When I tell you those are the only 2 things I did the entire pregnancy, I'm not freaking playing. And so I had a lot of support, and that is one thing that you need by far before anything else. If you want to breastfeed, you need support. I'm not saying you have to have a man as great as mine. You just need support, like, you know, and that was like key to my, I want to say, successful breastfeeding journey of 14 months. It was the support. So when my son was first born, I did not change a diaper, literally probably like 48 to 72 hours after my son was born. I did not change a diaper. I didn't know what a baby boy penis looked like until we got home, until I was kind of moving around again. I didn't change not one diaper. So, and then my son was also circumcised. He was also born with a extra finger. What the heck? My husband, his dad, yeah, they were born with extra pinkies. Another story for another time. We're not even gonna get into that. But yeah, so I was, to me, well rested. I was kind of able to come back to normal a little bit before I started actually doing things. The only thing I had to do was breastfeed. That's all my husband wanted me to focus on, is breastfeeding. And so that was really helpful, because obviously breastfeeding is a lot, man. Like, oh my gosh. You are thirsty, you stink, especially like the first couple of months. You're thirsty, you stink, you're eating all the time. I literally had to have a snack on my nursing cart, like, and I would try to do, you know, just snacks, fruit snacks, Slim Jims, grapes, crackers, just, you know, things that I could just trail mix, things I could quickly grab, because I would be so hungry breastfeeding every hour, every 2-3 hours. Like, oh, it was so crazy. But my husband would let me sleep in the mornings. He would get up with our oldest, and then whenever my son would get up, he would just come and get him and only bring him back to me whenever, like, he would get hungry. So that was pretty helpful, because I was pretty much, I mean, I was getting a decent amount of sleep for a mom of 2 kids. Like, I sometimes wasn't getting out of bed till 1 o'clock, and that was pretty helpful. Like, it really was. So that is something else. 0 to 3 months hurt really bad. The products that held me down, Silver, Nipple caps. Oh my gosh. I think Gabriel was probably 4 or 5 days old. I was going through it. My nipples were so raw. They were hurting so bad. It was hurting to nurse them. I was using the cream. But I knew from when I was breastfeeding Aaliyah, like I definitely needed protection from my raw tit and the cream to my shirt. So I read up, I did some research about the silver caps. Child, I was like, everybody get in the car right now. Like I literally almost flew to Target, went and got the nipple caps. And then somebody else got me this like organic nipple butter. I think my auntie Sheila got it, and she also breastfed her kid for like 2 years. So, you know, she's an expert. I be tapping in with her. And that's something else too, you know, talk to people who also breastfeed. Like I was doing that in the beginning when I kind of knew what was going on, but not really. And I was just trying to make sure things were normal. So yeah, I was definitely connecting with like other people who I knew breastfed and were successful at it. Like I wasn't talking to people who, you know, struggled, because I have already struggled. I don't need to relate to somebody who struggles. I need to learn from somebody who is successful, you know? So yeah, those are the two things that held me down. I did pump a little bit, but I really didn't use the milk. Well, we actually had a tropical storm and our power was out for a few days, so my breast milk went to waste. But it hurt my feelings to see my husband feed my son with a bottle. Like I don't know what it did. I don't know what it did to me. For me, I just, you know, I loved breastfeeding like it was working. So I'm like, if it's working, it's just fine. And then my husband was leaving to the military last summer too. And I'm like, well, whenever you leave, I'm not going to be giving him bottles. Like realistically, I'm not going to have time to pump, clean the pieces, freaking bottle it, label it, bag it, freeze it, feed him. Like not doing that. And it was summertime too. So at the time, Aaliyah was 5. And we were in a 1-bedroom. There was a lot going on. The boob was the best choice to continue on. So we just canceled out the bottles. And yeah, we just canceled the bottles and I just exclusively breastfed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for 0 to 3 months. It hurts. Once you get to about week 2, you're fine. My son is up. Be right back. Okay, you guys, we're back. I think I left off at 0 to 3 months. So my husband went to basic when my son was 3.5 months. So about month 4 is when shit started getting real, because it was just me and the kids and it was summertime. So breastfeeding was a challenge, but it was really demanding because Gabriel started to kind of develop a personality and definitely had cues. And so with having a second kid, an older kid, it was, for one, planning, knowing when he's gonna nurse, knowing when he's gonna take a nap. At this point, he was probably napping 3 times a day, and having small things for her to do the best way that I could. So yeah, there was that. 4 to 6 months, I feel like it wasn't really too crazy. It was comfort, it was food, whatever. Now, we started breastfed, whenever the babies start eating food. I probably started doing that around 8 to 9 months, whenever Gabriel could sit up unassisted. Like whenever I noticed, like, okay, he's sitting up and he's also interested in what we were eating, I was just giving him some. If it was a French fry, I would take a piece of the French fry and mash it and let him gnaw on it. Or avocado, I would mash up some avocado, feed it to him on a spoon. Yogurt, the Chobani, again, I was giving him some of that. A lick of a popsicle, a lick of some ice cream here and there, just little things. And then eventually eggs, spoonful of peanut butter. I probably did a spoonful of peanut butter around, I don't know, maybe 9, 10 months, which pediatricians, at least my pediatrician, recommended that we do to just get the allergy out of the way. So we did that, and he loves PB&J. Eggs, he's not too much of a fan of. Avocado, now he's not too much of a fan of. But before, whenever I was just trying to give him soft foods, oatmeal, things like that, just trying to see what he liked versus what he didn't like. I feel like breastfeeding felt super necessary, and it didn't start to get busy, chaotic until about I guess about 4 to 6 months, whenever Gabriel started looking around, biting. He started teething at about 4 or 5 months, so that was pretty painful for me. And breastfeeding, it's so weird, because I just seen a video when I was putting him back to sleep. I just seen a video of like this comedian talking about how breastfeeding is like this horrible ritual. And I mean, truly it is, because like when you start breastfeeding and then you stop, you feel guilty for not doing it. And so as many times as I was scratched, bitten, you know, whatever, for some reason, it never led me to going to the store and buying canned formula. Like, I would just do it over and over anyway, because I knew that this was the best option. And if I was able to do it this time around, I wanted to do it. And so, yeah, because of that, I just freaking did it because I wanted to do it. And so nursing in the middle of the night definitely became a pain, because it wasn't even so much he was eating. He is just doing it for comfort. So whenever he turned 11 months, I was like, okay, my husband, we found out that my husband was leaving for the summer, and I was like, I can't do another summer of breastfeeding, at least not like last year, because the kids are a lot older now. We're in a new space, place, environment, you know, just all the things. And so whenever Gabriel turned 11 months, I stopped nursing him. I don't want to say right when he turned 11 months, probably like toward the end of April, this past April. I stopped nursing him during the day, because at this point he was eating 3 times a day and 2 snacks, and also drinking watered down Mott's toddler apple juice and water. So he was having his things to drink, and then just a regular cup of water too, but he was having food, he was having snacks. He didn't really care about the boob, and I noticed that he really did not care about it whenever my in-laws came in for a weekend, and he was just so infatuated by just people being at our house, especially for an extended amount of time. He did not nurse at all during the day, like at all. It was so freaking crazy. And I was like, oh wow, my mother-in-law actually was like, he really does not need the boob as much as you think. And I'm like, I'm actually really surprised, because it's so demanding. It is such a demanding job. Also, just a side note, if you're looking to boost your milk supply for whatever reason, the secret is supply and demand. Think about it like, I hated economics in high school. It's literally supply and demand. The more you put out, the more you make. If you are, which sucks to say, but if you're at work and you're leaving your baby at home, that's probably the reason why your milk supply is lowering, because your body needs to be around the baby so that it can hear and feel the cues and know, okay, it's time to make more milk. Also, so that when your baby is doing things like cluster feeding, you're not giving them a bottle to fill those gaps, because the cluster feeding makes more milk, which will eventually have you being on a full, like sometimes I was making more milk than what Gabriel could drink, because I was pumping for the bottles for those, like that 2-week span. If he was like going through a growth spurt and maybe sleeping a little longer, and I was able to take a hot shower for 3 or 4 extra minutes, my breast would literally be shooting out milk because of the hot water sensation. And it's, you know, like, it's supply and demand. If you want to make more milk, pump a little bit. Pump 3 to 4 times a day in between feedings, and that's how you'll make the milk. And you need support. Support. Because even when my husband was gone, We were writing letters. He's asking me how it was going. I had my family calling and checking and supporting me with the breastfeeding. It was just me and my kids and our domain, which I felt like was super supportive to me and comforting because it was my space, it was our space. And so those things come along with the support system. I did not have to work. Like, yes, my husband was away, but he was taking care of things while he was away to ensure that I didn't have to be without the kids. But yeah, to ensure that I didn't have to, you know, just be stressed or pressed in any way, shape, or form. And so that really, really, really helped throughout this whole thing. But let's talk about weaning. I told y'all the two things. Let's talk about that too. I got a free breast pump through my insurance because I was on like, I had like my teacher insurance, but yeah, I got a breast pump through my insurance. I had teacher insurance, but teacher insurance is trash and super expensive out of pocket. So I applied for like my state's benefits. So I was able to get an OB and it was like free pretty much. And I had a great OB, loved her down. She did my son's circumcision. But I got my breast pump through my insurance. It wasn't like I got a hands-free one and that's it. It didn't have a lot of parts, but all those, again, like it wasn't just 2 parts. It probably was about 4 or 5 per pump, and then charging them and then pouring it. Like pumping was miserable for the little bit of time that I did it. I even tried refrigerating the parts so that I didn't have to keep washing them, but it made it so cold. So I wasn't, you know, that didn't work out for me either. So I would just say get a pump, not a manual pump, an electric pump, whether you have to plug the pump in or freaking just use one of the hands-free one. I would do the hands-free so that you can do the dishes, because that's what I was doing. I would get up, do the dishes, and pump. So I would do a hands-free, especially if you have like another child. I would get a hands-free one. Again, get a free one. Do not get some super fabulous one. Also, before you pump, use that nipple butter that I was talking about earlier. Apply that onto your stuff. I'm over here talking about the baby monitor in my hand, sorry. Apply the nipple butter before and after you pump. You can apply that nipple butter all the time. I was using it all the time, especially with the silver caps. Like, apply the nipple butter. It's safe for your baby to have some of, like, it's not a big deal. I wouldn't do it right before you know your baby's about to nurse, but like if you just so happen to put some on and your baby wakes up unexpectedly, you can still nurse them. You don't have to wipe, or, you know, you don't have to wipe it off. It's safe. It's like a freaking shea butter, you know, it's fine. So yeah, the breast pump, just get one. That's what I recommend. If you're going to be breastfeeding, just get the breast pump anyway, because if you feel you have a low supply and you want to increase it for whatever reason, the breast pump will help you, you know, get more milk out. So that's what I have to say on that. Now, back to the weaning. The daytime weaning was hard. Okay, it was hard. During the day when he was moving around, it wasn't so bad. But whenever he was taking a nap or going down for bed, the screams. And I wanted to stop nursing for one, because he was 11 months and getting pretty strong. He was getting active. He started trying to walk. And the biting, I was over it. I was over it, okay? I needed a little bit of freedom. So that is why I decided to stop at 11 months. And then again, my husband was leaving for the summer. So the first day that I started, it was, again, only hard, super hard during times for sleep, because during the day, if I noticed he's like tugging at my shirt or something, I would just do something to distract him, put on his favorite show, take him outside, give him a snack. I do so recommend making sure that you have snacks on deck, new snacks for them to try. Get those freaking baby snacks that they have at the store, something quick and easy, so that when they're getting fussy, you can just give them something. Because yeah, they probably do want a little snack, but they're, you know, they want something in their mouth. So a cup or a snack, offer both. Even get some popsicles, like offer multiple things and let them choose. Hell, let them take a bite and a sip out of all of it. Let them, you know, just give them the options, kind of let them guide you, and you just give them options. Like, you know, we're not going all willy-nilly now. So that's my thing on the daytime. Now, when it was time for sleep, I set a timer for 30 minutes. We also have a, what's that thing called? A hatch that we got from our baby shower. So his music plays for 15 minutes, and then I would press it again so that it was just like, you know, an instrumental pretty much. The first day I set a time for 30 minutes, and I let him cry both times, nap time and bedtime, for up to 30 minutes. And after that, I gave in and I nursed him. He did indeed cry the entire 30 minutes on, you know, for both nap and bedtime. Worst day of my life. Also, I was super full. I literally had to squeeze Hand Express into a jar. I only felt like that the first day, to the point where, like, even when I was bending down, I felt like my boobs were gonna fall off. But that's besides the point. After the first day, now day 2, I did the same thing, set a timer for 30 minutes. And then, by the way, for day 1, I did nurse him after the 30 minutes was up for nap time and bedtime. Day 2, I set a timer for 30 minutes. I think day 2, he cried for about 23 minutes and he put himself to sleep. For bedtime, he cried for 30 minutes. I nursed him and he went to sleep. And I did that for about 5 days. And by the 5th day, he was only crying for like 2 to 5 minutes, and he would self-soothe and put himself back to sleep. And so, you know, obviously, oh, and by the way, during this time, I was still nursing him at night. So even though I stopped nursing him during the day, I was still nursing him at night. Not to fall asleep, but I was nursing him in the middle of the night when he would wake up, for the sake of my sanity. Because again, I'm a mom of 2, not just 1. So I would nurse him in the middle of the night. I was nursing him in the middle of the night up until July. July, I decided I had enough again, because the nighttime nursing became sometimes biting, sometimes twisting, just no good sleep for mom. And we had to stick a fork in it. We had to end it. We had to did that shit. Like, so one day I just stopped. I had a week off in between my classes, and I was like, okay, this is a week where I can kind of, you know, be disturbed in my rest willingly. And so I just decided, like, okay, I'm not gonna nurse him. And so probably like the 2nd week of July is when I just stopped nursing him in the middle of the night. I wasn't in any discomfort with my breast. I wasn't full, I wasn't leaking. He did wake up a couple of times. He cried for a few minutes and then he went back to sleep. I would comfort him, hug him, rub his back, rock him, sing him a song, but ultimately he was just doing that out of habit, and eventually the habit broke itself. But it really wasn't bad. It wasn't like how it went at first, like with the daytime nursing. And so I like the way I did it. If I had to do it again, I would do it the same way. If I had to do it again, I would breastfeed again. And I would probably go just as long. I would probably stop at 12 months, which is what I kind of wanted to do anyway. But 14 months, I am so proud of myself. Definitely give myself a pat on the back, because breastfeeding is not for the weak, okay? It's not for the weak. So let's get to my son's sleeping habits now. You see, he just woke up a few, 10, 15 minutes ago after being asleep independently for 45 minutes. He still, to me, wakes up out of habit. When I go in there, I just lay with him, I rub his back, and he will go back to sleep. He literally has to sleep across me. It is so frustrating, okay? It is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. He's also doing this thing now where he's just shoving his hand down my shirt and playing with my boob. I hate it. But sometimes my hands are so freaking caught up with me holding and cooking him, or holding and freaking fixing his shirt, or whatever, that I just don't notice, or I just can't swat his hand away fast enough. But I will take this over breastfeeding. I love the level of independence that he has now. I love that we breastfed for this long. I swear my son has only been sick one time within the almost 15 months that he's been on this earth. I feel like he is not a super picky eater, but he's probably going to be picky because he has a sister who is picky, and he watches what she eats, and he sees that we're not a household that is going to make you sit at the table and finish your plate or force you to eat a veggie because you don't want to. Our rule is if you ate, you ate. Goodbye, good night. Get you some fruit, drink you some water, get you a pantry snack, a Hot Pocket, a hot dog, child. Eat what you want, but you can't say that you're starving around here, and just bring your tail to bed. Just go to sleep, okay? So he has caught on, I feel like, watching her, so he is kind of, you know, finicky about certain things. But he's happy and healthy, and he's right on track with growing. So if you're a breastfeeding mama out there, shout out to you. No matter how long you did it, 11 days or freaking 22 months, shout out to you. I'm proud of you for doing it. You should be proud of yourself for doing it. You know your baby. You don't need anybody to tell you about your baby. But what I will say is, it does not hurt to seek advice from those who are successful in their journeys, and make sure you have support. Those are, if you don't take anything away from this video, those are the things I need you to take away. Make sure you have support. Look up some people who have had successful breastfeeding journeys, okay? Connect with them, read their stuff, whatever the case may be. Do the research. When you're struggling, do the research. There's somebody else out there who is struggling too, and they found a way. You can definitely do it too. And get the products that I'm freaking recommending. Those silver caps, non-negotiable. The nipple cream, non-negotiable. Breast pump, non-negotiable. Especially if you're a first-time mom. Get a freaking breast pump for the sake of your mind, so that whenever you're like, oh my gosh, my milk supply is dipping, blah, 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 because you're looking up crazy stuff, you can get on that freaking pump and you can manually increase your milk supply. So yeah, those are things. And then if you're wondering about the science behind the silver caps, something about sterling silver and healing properties in skin, something with all of those things combined, also with a little bit of cream, helps seal the skin a little faster. Do your own research again, but look it up, sterling silver. Make sure they're actual sterling silver caps. You can get them off of Amazon. You can get them in Target. I will tag the ones that I got probably below, but if you made it this far, thank you. And if you're breastfeeding, keep going. See y'all in the next one.